The Salvation Army began its work in Flint, Michigan on July 26, 1893. Formerly a lumbering town, Flint soon became known as the Vehicle City, with its citizens mostly employed in the manufacture of horse-drawn carriages, a natural outgrowth of its lumbering roots. The Salvation Army in Flint was small at first, with various churches housing the first Army meetings until the old Princess skating rink was purchased. Next, Fowler's Garage on East Union Street was renovated to meet the needs of the growing congregation, until the Corps was moved to a storefront building on the west side of the 200 block of Saginaw Street, and later a building on West Kearsley Street. In 1910, under the leadership of Adjutant and Mrs. Howard J. Clifford, brother to the first officer, Captain Florence Clifford, property on Beach Street between First and Kearsley Streets was purchased, and plans for permanent housing were underway. Change was afoot as the local newspaper proclaimed, "The sound of singing, the ring of tambourines, and burst of glad hallelujahs are heard in Piers Grove in Flint, Michigan. The Salvation Army has come to town, and officers from Michigan and Indiana, under the leadership of Major J.W. Cozens, Divisional Commander, are preparing for a bombardment of Flint." By the turn of the century, David Buick, an internal combustion engineer, was producing some engines in Jackson, Michigan. But because he could not get financial backing there, he moved his Buick Motor Company to Flint. He hired a mechanic, William E. Beecraft, from Canada to begin building the first Buick engine. Mr. Beecraft linked up with the Army Corps and became its first Corps Sergeant Major. The growing auto company soon needed more help to continue its growth. One morning in 1904, Mr. Buick asked Beecraft to hire more mechanics. Beecraft knew this was an answer to his prayer. He knew where men could be found, not only skilled mechanics, but also dedicated Salvationists and bandsmen. He contacted his home corps in Canada, and soon help began arriving. Salvationist Morse and Randall were the first two hired, and the Army now had dedicated bandsmen who marched the streets of Flint, proclaiming the gospel of Jesus crucified, risen, and coming again. Word spread to Salvationists across Canada and overseas that there was work and a growing corps in Flint, and the crowds came seeking employment and a place in the Army. In May 1911, after much sacrifice and prayer on the part of the soldiers, the building on Saginaw Street was completed. In 1921, a gymnasium, band room, and General Corps offices were added to the building. General Evangeline Booth, daughter of the founder, and then National Commander of the Salvation Army in America, was on hand for the dedication. In 1967, under the leadership of Brigadier and Mrs. David Payton, a new sanctuary was constructed, and the Senior Corps moved from the old building to the new, renovating the former building for youth activities. In 1979, a building at the corner of Kearsley and Beach Streets was acquired. This building was torn down and replaced with lawn, trees, and shrubs, and in 1988, property on the west side of the sanctuary was purchased for parking. The Flint Citadel Corps continued to be a source of positive change and support for the city. Programs such as food and utility assistance and youth character building programs were formed to address the needs of the community. In April of 2014, the city of Flint experienced yet another major change. Authorities switched its water supply to save money. High lead levels in the new water supply caused a serious health crisis, and the Salvation Army's Emergency Disaster Services Unit responded with a massive bottled water drive to help its residents. Today, the Flint Citadel Corps is still a vibrant partner for Flint and the people of Genesee County to help weather whatever changes they may face. Our programs including food pantries, utility assistance, youth programs, Christmas assistance, emergency assistance, and, of course, a church ministry continue to bring hope to the community. While the automotive presence in the city is no longer the driving force, the Salvation Army in Flint is rolling along.